History is a collection of stories we've all agreed to believe. We call them facts. We call them the record. But history is written by the survivors. And the smartest survivors are the ones who know how to hide the truth in plain sight. We think we know our heroes. We think we know their hearts. But actually, maybe we don't. In 1998, workers renovating 36 Craven Street in London, the former home of Benjamin Franklin, found something buried in the dirt floor of the basement. 1,200 human bones, dissected, sawed, and stacked. Historians were quick to point the finger at William Hewson, a surgeon and friend who lived there. It's a clean story. It keeps the Founding Fathers' hands white as parchment. But actually, maybe Benjamin Franklin was a serial killer. It began in Boston, a young apprentice working under the thumb of an overbearing brother. History says Ben was a genius in the making, a boy of letters. But consider the Mrs. Silence Dogood letters. To the public, they were the witty musings of a widow. To a predator, they were a masterclass in psychological profiling. By adopting this persona, Ben learned how to think like his victims. He learned their schedules, their fears, and their vulnerabilities. He wasn't just writing satire. He was selecting his subjects. When people began to disappear in the foggy streets of the Massachusetts Bay Colony, no one looked at the quiet, industrious boy in the print shop. After all, he was too busy improving his mind. But the ink wasn't enough. Ben needed a larger canvas. He needed a place where a man could disappear and become someone entirely new. In 1723, Franklin famously fled to Philadelphia to escape his brother's contract. But history forgets that in the weeks leading up to his flight, the Boston Constabulary was closing in on a string of unnatural deaths. Ben didn't run for freedom. He ran for his life. And Philadelphia, it was about to get its first public servant. Philadelphia, October 1723. A 17-year-old boy steps off a boat onto the Market Street wharf. He's bedraggled, alone, and clutching 3 puffy rolls of bread. This is your apostle of liberty arriving in his new home. We're told he was a runaway apprentice seeking his fortune, but look at the way he moves. He's not looking for a job. He's looking for a crowd to disappear into. Philadelphia was a chaotic, growing port, the perfect place for a man who needed to be invisible. Ben quickly established himself as a man of industry, but his civic-mindedness had a darker utility. By founding the Pennsylvania Gazette, he became the city's primary filter of information. He controlled the news. If a body was found in the Schuylkill River, Ben decided if the public ever heard about it. He wasn't just a journalist, he was a gatekeeper of the truth. Then came the civic improvements, the first fire department, the first volunteer militia, the first hospital. To the public, it was progress. To Ben, it was infrastructure. He was building a city where he held all the keys. For decades, Philadelphia's elite praised Franklin for making their streets safer. They never realized that the man who lit the street lamps was the only one who knew exactly where the shadows stayed the longest. By the time he was 30, Benjamin Franklin was the most trusted man in the colonies. He had achieved the ultimate camouflage. Total respectability. But as his fame grew, so did his appetite. And soon, the new world wouldn't be enough to satisfy it. He needed a bigger stage. He needed London. We're taught that Ben Franklin tamed lightning, that he was a man of reason, bringing light to a dark world. But in the mid-1700s, electricity wasn't a utility. It was a mystery. And to Ben, it was a weapon. 1752, the famous kite experiment. History says he wanted to prove lightning was electricity. But actually, maybe, he was looking for the perfect death. Franklin was obsessed with the effects of the electrical fluid on living tissue. He famously killed a 10-pound turkey with a shock, noting that the meat was uncommonly tender. He wasn't just cooking dinner, he was calculating voltage. He was learning how to stop a human heart without leaving a single mark on the skin. No bruises, no blood, no evidence. Just a sudden, natural failure of the body. His scientific correspondence with colleagues in Europe was filled with coded language. They spoke of vessels and conductors. But in the dark of his Philadelphia basement, the conductors were flesh and bone. By the time he was sent to London as a diplomat, he was no longer just a hobbyist. He was a master of the electric execution. He just needed a more private place to practice. A place where the screams of the dying would be lost in the roar of a world capital. In 1757, Franklin arrived in London. He moved into a house on Craven Street. It was close to the seat of power, close to the docks, and most importantly, it had a very deep, very quiet cellar. It was here that the Apostle of Liberty would meet a young man named William Hewson, a man who shared Ben's anatomical interests. For over 2 centuries, the secrets of 36 Craven Street stayed buried, literally, until a group of construction workers in 1998 pulled back the floorboards of the garden room. They found a pit, 1 meter wide, 1 meter deep. Inside were 1,200 pieces of human history. Men, women, and children. The marks were precise, professional. Someone hadn't just buried these people, they had disassembled them. Historians point to William Hewson, the brilliant young anatomist who lived with Franklin. They say it was a private anatomy school, a body-snatching operation for science. It's a convenient theory. Dead men tell no tales, and William Hewson died of an infection in 1774. At only 34 years old. He made the perfect fall guy, but Hewson was a guest. Franklin was the master of the house. What if Hewson wasn't the lead? What if he was the apprentice? Franklin provided the house, the funding, and the subjects. In exchange, Hewson provided the surgical expertise to dispose of the evidence. While the great philosopher was upstairs drafting treaties to end the American Revolution, the bodies of London's unaccounted for were being dissolved in acid and buried in the dirt beneath his chair. Franklin left London in 1775, just as the bodies were piling too high. He returned to America a hero. He lived to the age of 84, the elder statesman of a new nation, his secrets safely sealed under a layer of London clay. Benjamin Franklin gave us the lightning rod, the bifocals, and the blueprint for American democracy. He was a man of infinite light. And they say every light casts a shadow. But actually, maybe some shadows are 1,200 bones deep.